So welcome to the Keys to Miami.
Thank you.
I'm here with Irina Kazakova.
Yeah, that's right.
I got it right.
You did a good job on that.
Yeah. So I invited you on because I actually saw your Instagram, and the thing that caught my eye obviously was kind of the underwater model, and then I got to know you and found out there was like a whole much more going on. Can you tell me just kind of how you got to the point of being an underwater model?
Yeah, that's a long story. So basically, I started back in Moscow. I was in rhythmic gymnastics national team for many years, travel and competing. And when I finished gymnastics, I transitioned into performance art. So I was working in a cabaret show and circus, traveling around the world, So all my hardcore childhood pays off.
Yeah, I saw a picture of you where there was like a lady just pushing your leg down and you look like you're about to cry.
Yeah. It's tough. Russians are tough. So it's pay off, and I got to travel a lot and perform in different stages in different countries and stuff. And then I moved to Miami. I got to discover there is such a thing as underwater photography. I met this amazing photographer. Her name is Irina Kazakova. She's one of the first underwater photographers who actually started photographing our portraits and people underwater. I met her. I started to travel regularly to Bahamas, and we came up with this amazing underwater images. And somehow I transitioned on another stage.
Yeah, because now you do the photography as well, right?
So I transitioned to the behind the camera thing, and I also shoot people now.
Yeah. Can you tell me, you were telling me when we first talked, you were describing what it's like to be kind of underwater and like looking up and like the visual that you're getting while you're doing the actual shoot itself.
Yeah, this feeling is very magical because I found underwater photography, underwater modeling, or just being underwater and doing free diving, it's very magical, and it's some sort of meditation for me. When you face a lot of problems in life, like life is not always easy. So I found this place where I can just escape from reality and heal myself, literally. And there is a thing that I actually learned. Like when you exhale all the air from your lungs and you go on the bottom of the whatever it is, the ocean or the pool, and like when I actually teach people to sink, that's, as a photographer, it's one of the most important things. You have to teach your models to sink. So I tell them, like when you start exhaling from your lungs, it's really, you think you're not gonna go down. And then you have to keep doing it and keep doing it until, like, oh, in the last 2 seconds, you actually go down and you're able to lay down and look upon the surface and see how the sun shines through the water. And that's like one of the most magical and relaxing things you can experience.
Yeah.
And that's unforgettable feeling that you just want to keep watching it and just stay there forever. It's so relaxing and so meditative that I find it like my best meditation ever.
Yeah. And you were saying that like one of the reasons why you had transitioned to the photography is you were kind of seeing the creative shots that could be done, and you were like, oh, I should actually do the photography too, because as you're doing the modeling, you could visually see the photos, right?
Yeah, so I also finished New York Film Academy School back then, and for me it was really hard, like, do I want to be on the camera or behind the camera? So like actually now I'm trying to come up with the concept to be a self-model so I can get all the credit. I'm so greedy. I am so greedy, honestly. Yeah. I just want to take all the credit. Because sometimes, like I'm like, sometimes I even manage the photographers, like, oh, you have to be here and there. Like now I only work with the best. So, and I like to work with creative, what actually they have their own vision. Like Irina Kazakova, for example, my underwater photography. But I also work with a lot of people who have no ideas about the lines and stuff. So I have to tell them you have to be there and there. And even if they move somewhere around, I have to move my body because people sometimes they have no understanding about photography and lines. And so then I found myself that I'm just like, so this is actually my photography because I did so much work to position myself there to look like this in the camera. And I was like, maybe I should start being, behind the camera girl, and
Yeah.
that's fun too. It's just actually hard
To make money at
to
it? I think photography is one of the hardest professions
you
to
know
make
what?
consistent
That's
income.
why I need a guy like you to market me well.
Yeah.
I got lucky that as a performer, I have I'm in Wikipedia still as one of the most flexible people in the world, and I got lucky that when people see my performance, they just like it's they say the word of mouth.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of work. Like I don't have to put much in marketing. But as a photographer now, I really need a guy like you.
Yeah, because you're starting from scratch.
I start from the scratch, and I'm doing most artistic stuff. Now I'm trying to focus on the studio work. That's what's actually commercial. That's how you make money. You don't make money on the unless you do fine art, then you make money on your prints when you start selling it. But it's also a lot of marketing work, so it's like now
if
it's
I were to
like
give you one tip on marketing is, Instagram, Facebook, social media is kind of like the new thing, or it's kind of like the more popular thing. But most businesses, most local
LinkedIn.
businesses, no, not LinkedIn. LinkedIn's good. But it's actually Google search marketing.
Yes.
And the difference is this is the easiest way to describe it. If I'm looking for a photographer, I'm searching on Google.
Exactly.
If
you
target me with an ad on social media, it's like, imagine social media as you're watching TV, a commercial comes on, and you kind of view it as like a disruptive thing.
Yes.
People can get you to sign up, but the difference is on Google, people are actively searching for photographers in Miami. And if you show up first, that person is actually in the market, ready to spend money right now. So Google is way more powerful for a local business always than social media. And not that social media is not important, but I would always lead with
it won't
Google.
give us much work. Right?
Yeah, it's not the same. The
Yeah.
people that are searching for a photographer in Miami
It's like
right now,
constant work is coming from Google.
And those
how about the Yelp?
Yelp is good too. Actually, Yelp is
They
good.
work with Google
It's
as
a
well.
smaller subsect of people that have Yelp, but Google is the #1 search engine in the world. So Yelp or Google, YouTube, Yelp are probably your top 3, but Google for sure. Google.
And can I ask about the Instagram marketing? Because a lot of these companies, and I also hired some people before who helped me to promote my Instagram, but I found it so fake. When you're paying these people, you get a lot of engagement and there, and then you aren't getting followers, you're getting likes, so you think it's real. But when you actually start paying for this, I would say fake marketing, then you realize that a lot of people actually unfollowing. I was like,
this is a bot. So that's a bot. They just follow and unfollow. No, it's not worth it.
And nothing else, like not no real thing.
The biggest thing is your hashtags. Is just to really have a really strong hashtag strategy for Miami photographer, the type of photography that if people want to find your work, if they click through hashtags, they're going to find you. That's going to be your best bet. And then doing work and tagging people and having people share yours, but I wouldn't pay for Instagram marketing.
You wouldn't pay Instagram ads?
No, I wouldn't spend a bunch of money on it. I would definitely focus on Google
invest
first.
on Google. I don't invest
my Google
in my
business
Instagram
page, my website, Google, paying for pay-per-click ads. Google ads are way more valuable than Instagram ads for sure. Because that person is looking for you way better than just promoting based on what people like, and they're just scrolling and it's just sponsored ad. It's not the same. I don't spend any money on it. I only focus on Google SEO, pay-per-click, my Google business location, getting it to rank. But okay, let's go back to you because we're talking about my business.
I like it. I mean, people want to know about it. So I mean, let's go back.
Let's go back to. So because you started out in Russia, you were a part of like the Olympics team, the national team, right? So you were from the age of 6, that's how you've kind of gotten to this point. But let's go back to that and tell me like what it was like as a child. Because I know Russia is like super intense about their gymnastics and Olympics. So it must have been like a very militant mindset.
It's military.
Yeah.
It's a Russian military, it's a tough childhood, I had, but at the same time it's like a drug. You start and you can't live without it anymore. You come, you cry, but then you find yourself, you enjoy the pain, you enjoy your tears, you enjoy this hardcore, and you want to do better. You enjoy it a lot,
Yeah.
but it's
So
not.
you learn to love it in some weird way that you enjoy the pain.
Yeah, exactly.
They make you learn to love the pain.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so you competed like on the national team for Russia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you applied to come to America, that gave you a kind of an extraordinary person visa?
Yes, I got O1 visa, so I never had problems to, like all this.
You didn't have to marry an American
Exactly.
to get
I
here.
didn't have to pay anyone, and do all this Russian thing, and I'm like, I'm good. I had O1 visa. Now I'm American. I have my passport, so
Yeah.
it's great.
And that's, you were saying that for you it wasn't hard because you had all that documentation.
I had a good history because I was in national Olympic team in Russia. I was in the second team in Athens, so I got to travel. I didn't get to perform in Athens, but I got to see girls actually performing, and support them on 2004 in Athens. So that was amazing.
Yeah.
It was actually, like all this competition, it was very stressful and scary. So I wouldn't even want to take that stress on me. I was like, oh my God,
Because it's pressure, right? Like,
It's so much
Russia,
pressure.
it's like you're representing the country, and it's like
It's so much
very
pressure.
important.
It's so much pressure. Yeah, and we was talking about O1 visa because I got this achievement in gymnastics, and then I got to travel and perform in all these different venues and cabaret shows, and I work in Ibiza, Brazil, all the Caribbean islands, all over United States. After. But it was easy for me to get that visa. It wasn't that hard. When you have the right documentations.
Yeah, and
So
for
I
you,
guess-
it's like you were saying, like obviously you went through a lot of intense kind of experiences as a child, but it set your life up to where you could pretty much show up anywhere and work, regardless of whether you were saying you spoke English or not. Like you always can find work.
Yeah. That's the thing. I spoke my body language, and I came here. I had no language. I had like one friend here. I knew one girl. She was like one of my best friends in Moscow. So I came to visit her for the summer, and then I got offered a job to teach kids here for gymnastics. So that was my sponsor, and they invited me to come and sponsor me with the visa. So I went back to Russia. I got O1. I moved here December 2009. So.
Yeah. And so if people want to follow you, see your photography, see your work, how can they find you?
It's Allure on Instagram. Follow me, guys. Send me a message. I also have Allure Studio. I would love to photograph you. So
Do you have a website? Can someone find you on a website?
Yes. So my website for my photography is Allure Studio. For me as underwater model is Underwater Movement, and so this is my another project that I'm actually working on. Underwater Movement is about underwater movement as a dance, and underwater movement as a eventually our how you say that conservation movement. Mm-hmm. So I love things like that, and eventually I want to work more on that. Just didn't have enough time to put myself everywhere. I kind of have to focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And so my performance, I'm actually doing my new website as a Allure production, because I also do shows, and I hire other performers to do shows for me. And I'm actually like, it's not online yet. I'm working on the new website. So, but you can find a lot of videos of me performing if you just Google my name, Irina Kazakova, or you just go on my Instagram as Sun Allure. Sun Allure, you spend it like a sun on the sky, and Allure, like Allure. So.
So it's a good episode. Is there anything you want to share that we haven't shared or talk about, or?
Maybe, it would be good to talk about entertainment.
Okay.
As you know, like a work in entertainment is not easy.
Yeah.
It's hard, and you get to face a lot of egos, it's like a lot of competitions and stuff. So sometimes like how I really felt in the past, it's just sometimes it's important to take a step back and maybe don't do things for a while until you feel how much you actually love it. And for me, it was like the last couple of years, I wasn't really performing much, but now I'm coming back
Yeah.
with the new strength. Obviously, because for me, it was really hard, like mentally, to work in entertainment. It's like the same with a lot of models and actors. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of competition, a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
So for me it was a good healing. I stepped back and I realized how much I actually love performing, and this is something that we actually give a visual pleasure for the people to come and see us performing on the stage. So, and I am so grateful for that I have my art, that actually I can put all my heart into that, because a lot of people, they don't have things they love to do, they don't have anything to put heart into. So I found myself, it's important sometimes do not focus so much what actually going on and happening at the moment, because if you focus so much, it just you get so drained and go so crazy, because it can be so much drama inside. It's so important to unattach yourself and start doing another things. Like for me, it's been like underwater photography. Yeah, I can't perform. I go back, I do, photography in my studio. I do underwater photography. I model. So I kind of like, trying to unattach myself.
Yeah.
Because also as being a performer, I had an injury, so like I realized that like one day everything could finish. As an aerialist, you can fail and you can die anytime. Like anything could happen. You can break your leg and you can't perform anymore.
Yeah.
So I found it's like really important. I think what I'm saying now, it's very important for artists, for performers, especially who work like in Cirque du Soleil or other venues. It's very important to find another passion or another job. So when something, I hope it's not going to happen, but you have to always put in the back of your mind that you have to have another profession, or you have to have something that you're passionate about. Because if you lose one passion, you still have another. Yeah. And you lose another, you still have another. So make sure you have a couple passions.
Yeah.
And make sure it's your passions. Make sure that you have passion, and what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like you're just saying, like especially as a performer, if it's involving your body, you got to have more than that.
So what I was trying to say that, yeah, make sure to have couple passions. So if one of them is gone, you still can go towards second or third thing, so you don't feel lost in life. So I don't like how I say that.
Yeah, it's fine. So I think that's a good episode. I think we're good.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.